Hey guys, and welcome back to our Infinite Flight video training series. My name is Mark. Most of you know me as Skyhawk Heavy. And today I just wanted to do a flight from Honolulu to Kahului using ATC from start to finish, and just kind of give you an idea of what that looks like for those who don't really quite understand how to use ATC. So the first thing I do is as soon as I spawn, I go ahead and file my flight plan and get the aircraft set up the way that I want it for takeoff before contacting ground. Once all that's complete, I go ahead and contact ground for my clearance to push back.
123, taxi to runway 08 left. Contact tower when ready. Honolulu ground, Skyhawk Heavy, ready for pushback. Taxiing
So I've
to
contacted
runway
ground
08
and
left.
requested pushback,
Ethiopian
and now I just need to
123.
sit there and wait. You do not move. You just wait for ground to go ahead and give you that clearance to push back or tell you to hold short. As you can see, there's an aircraft taxiing right behind me, so the controller's kind of waiting on that. Then he'll clear me to push
Skyhawk
back.
Heavy, pushback approved. Expect runway 08 left. Honolulu
So ground has
Kilo Lima
approved my
Mike 87
pushback,
heavy,
told me to
ready
expect
for
runway
pushback.
08 left.
Kilo
So
Lima
before I
Mike
push back,
87
I
heavy.
check around just to make sure that there's no other aircraft. And then once I get done, I go ahead and contact ground and request taxi.
Honolulu ground, Skyhawk Heavy, ready to taxi. Honolulu ground, United 1710, request taxi to parking. Skyhawk Heavy, taxi to runway 08 left. Contact tower when ready.
Okay,
United
so ground has now
1710,
told me to taxi to
parking.
runway 08 left. Contact tower when ready. So as you notice, I'm taxiing from the outside from the chase view, so I can see everything around me. The reason I do that is because, yes, the controllers should tell me when to give way or tell another aircraft to give way of an aircraft. But if not, I want to be ready. I mean, you are the pilot, so you are responsible for the safety as well. So make sure that you're always looking around just to make sure that there's not going to be any issues, any collisions or anything like that. Just always pan around while you're taxiing, just so you can make sure that everything is safe and that everything is clear, just in case the controller might be a little busy and they may not see you. So just keep that in mind. So now, as you can see, I'm approaching the end of the runway, and ground told me to contact tower when I was ready, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to the tower frequency and request for takeoff.
Honolulu Tower, Skyhawk Heavy, ready for takeoff at runway 08 left, departing east. Honolulu Tower, Bravo Charlie Whiskey 779, inbound on the ILS, runway 08 left. Skyhawk Heavy, hold short of runway 08 left.
So tower has told me now to hold short of runway 08 left, so I'll just approach the hold short line and stop behind the hold short line. I do not cross it, and I wait for the clearance to either line up and wait or to take off.
Skyhawk Heavy, line up and wait runway 08 left.
So tower has told me to line up and wait, so I'm going to go ahead and taxi out onto the runway and line up with the center line and wait for my clearance. Now what I would like to show you here is that tower has given me the clearance, even though you haven't heard it yet, but you can see it at the top of the screen where they've cleared me for the takeoff. I don't have to wait to hear it. I see it on my screen, so I go ahead and proceed with my takeoff.
Skyhawk Heavy, contact Wheeler AAF departure on 124.8.
Okay, so now tower is handing me off to departure, and once I get everything established, I'll go ahead and switch over to departure and let them know what my intentions are.
International. Skyhawk Heavy is 5 nautical miles east of Honolulu International at 5,100 feet, requesting flight following to Kahului International. Skyhawk Heavy, proceed on course to Kahului International.
So departure has told me to proceed on course since I requested flight following. So that means that I can continue with my flight plan. Now, what you need to understand is even if you're flying with flight following or VFR, that if departure or approach or even center needs to vector you around, you need to follow their instructions regardless of your flight plan.
Lufthansa Cargo 1. Proceed on course, Hawaiian 260 Heavy. Skyhawk Heavy, contact Maui approach on 119.5.
Now departure has handed me off to Maui approach. where I will contact them to check in and request an ILS approach into Kahului.
Skyhawk Heavy is 9 nautical miles west of Panda at 13,000 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 02 at Kahului International.
So I've requested the ILS approach for runway 02, and now I just await for the response from approach. That's all that you need to do. You just wait for approach to contact you back.
Cleared ILS runway 02 approach. Skyhawk Heavy, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 02 at Kahului International.
So now Maui approach has told me to expect vectors for the ILS runway 02. You just continue to fly the same heading that you're on at the same altitude. You do not deviate from that until you are instructed to do so by the approach controller, regardless of your flight plan. So once you are given an altitude and heading assignment, you follow those instructions.
Turn right heading 120, descend and maintain 11,000.
So now we just follow the instructions of the approach controller until he hands us off to the tower at Kahului.
North Shuttle 2311, Skyhawk Heavy, descend and maintain 4,000. Descend and maintain 4,000, Skyhawk Heavy. Skyhawk Heavy, turn right heading 140. Turn right heading 140, Skyhawk Heavy. Skyhawk Heavy, reduce speed to 210 knots. Reduce speed to 210 knots, Skyhawk Heavy.
Approach has told me to reduce my speed to 210 knots, and just so you know, that is an indicated speed, not ground speed.
Turn left heading 120. North Shuttle 2311, turn right heading 350, descend and maintain 2,500, maintain 2.
So as you can see at the top, approach has now given me my last turn as well as my altitude with the clearance for the ILS for runway 02 at Kahului. Now what I want everybody to understand here is that you do not need to request a frequency change. Approach will hand you off when they see that you are established on the heading that they have given you.
Bravo Yankee, climb and maintain 16,000. Climb and maintain 16,000. November 459 Bravo Yankee. November 30 Bravo Alpha Tango, requesting climb to flight level 210. Skyhawk Heavy, contact Kahului Tower on 118.7. Contacting Kahului Tower on 118.7, Skyhawk Heavy.
So approach has handed me off to Kahului Tower, and now I will call inbound on the ILS for runway 02, and Tower will now give me a clearance with a sequence, whether I'm number 1, number 2, number 3, so on and so forth. Once you receive that clearance, there is no need to contact Tower again unless you need to make a go-around or after you respond to their runway exit command.
Skyhawk Heavy, when able turn left, contact ground on the taxiway. Wilco, Skyhawk Heavy.
So Tower told me to exit the runway and contact ground when off the runway, which means you do not contact ground on the runway. You wait till you're past the hold short line, then switch over to ground.
Kahului ground, Skyhawk Heavy, request taxi to parking. Skyhawk Heavy, taxi to parking. Taxi into parking, Skyhawk Heavy.
So I requested a taxi to parking. After exiting the runway and past the hold short line, they told me to go ahead and taxi to parking. Guys, I hope this has helped clear up any issues or any confusions that you may have about communicating with ATC. I'll work on some other videos as far as center, transitions, and some other things that have been an ongoing issue. Make sure that you subscribe for more great tutorials. Also check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, as well as on our Instagram. My name is Mark. I appreciate you taking a few moments to watch.